When Black Lives Matter first became a political issue in America, one of the saddest occurrences in that whole discourse was the lack of discussion on the purview of police in governing in the West. And there really is some truth to Black Lives Matter's qualms and issues. The issue is, though, it's not an issue of white versus black. It's an issue of how do we, as free people, govern ourselves? Who can be a victim? How should the government be involved? Can the government be an injured party in a situation? So let's go ahead and wind the clock back today. We're going to look a little bit into how exactly the legal system has been seen through history in the Bible, but I repeat myself, and then of course through the Middle Ages, and today through the new Marxist lens of oppressed and oppressors, and how that shift has created a really disturbing trend with Henry Nowak being assumed to be the aggressor as he bleeds out in Great Britain, and a lady being arrested for simply questioning the local government on the quality of water in Trinidad, Texas. We're going to get to this, a whole lot more, some Iran Watch, some history with Nikki Knows Facts. We'll get into some gender war stuff, some shenanigans with Steve, song review, and if we get to it, these screw tape letters in the book corner. Join us here on Further Every Day for all the above. Jonathan Fiala for Further Every Day, sitting in the chair of philosophy. I am joined by Miss Nikki.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Glad to have you here in the right chair, Chair of Theology.
Yeah, well, keep it straight if we can.
Have you been?
We have been good. We had a good vacation, good family time.
Praise God. Florida drivers are crazy. Well,
fact.
You guys learned that? How's it going, Charlie?
We learned that. We're thankful to be sitting here today. Honestly, I'm not going to get into the details, but
they had a moment.
We had a very concerning moment.
And to his left, we got Steve. How's it going?
Everything's going great, man. Plan on being politically incorrect and laying some stuff down.
Isn't it nice to be joined by Charlie and Nikki again?
Man, it is.
We've missed him.
I'm telling you.
We
can have the Nikki cult go on today.
Yeah. So everyone in the chat, drop a like for Nikki, and Nikki Knows Facts. And then, of course, we have not missed him because he's been right here serving the whole time, is Rye Guy. How's it going, Mr. Producer?
Rye Guy.
Excuse me. I'm doing good. I'm excited the Pomeroys are back. And I have a quick question for you, Mr. Charlie.
Yes.
Are Florida drivers, are they crazier than Texas drivers?
So, Ryan, it's interesting you're asking that question. Before the trip, I would have said no, Texas drivers are probably the worst. I'm going to tell you, Florida probably took first place.
I drive 90 miles an hour on the turnpikes, Ryan, just so I don't get rear-ended. That's how it is in Florida, in my experience. Okay, having driven all up and down the state. There's a name for the state. What do you call the state? It's not the Palm. Is it the Palmetto State?
Sunshine State.
The Sunshine State. Having driven north, west, east, south, and the Sunshine State. Don't they call it the Palmetto State too?
No, that's South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina. Okay.
Yep.
So the Sunshine State is wild. We love you guys, our buddies in Florida. So
they're just rushing from one fishing spot to the next.
I guess so. Either that or they're outrunning the Crocs. But here in Texas.
And we did see dead ones on the side of the road.
I believe it.
No surprise.
I believe it. They're epidemic over there. In Texas, in Trinidad, did you guys get a chance to see this story?
That was unreal.
Let's go ahead and pull up clip number 1, Mr. Producer, and we're going to run through these. We've got 3 of these because this story is unfolding right now. And I want to start off with a woman who was arrested in Trinidad, Texas for deigning to speak up against the water being toxic in her area. So go ahead and put that out.
Jennifer Combs got in hot water with the city's police chief after she posted saying that she'd heard people had been hospitalized because of the town's water. And we are learning that she is not the only one to be arrested while speaking out about the city's water. Fox 4's David Santendry joins us now with more. David.
Well, this was a quick decision by the grand jury, and now it is one of 2 arrests related to the water controversy that will not be moving forward.
I cover stories that get ignored.
Citizen journalist Winston Knowles goes by the name Otto the Watchdog.
And I focus on small towns because they need the most help.
And last week,
My name is Winston Knowles.
Knowles' 80,000 YouTube subscribers had live access of his arrest for holding up a sign outside Trinidad Police Department.
So I came out to Trinidad because I found out that the chief of police had arrested a lady for making a Facebook post.
On Wednesday, Fox 4 shared an exclusive interview with Jennifer Combs, a citizen journalist arrested for a Facebook post reading, "We have received reports that some citizens have been hospitalized due to bacteria in the water. This is a serious public health concern that deserves immediate attention."
There's a lot of people complaining about the water.
Fox 4 has received images from residents of deeply discolored water. City leaders admit there's a water issue that's been going on for years. Still, Chief of Police Charles Gregory believes no one has been hospitalized, and in a social media post of his own, said Combs' post creates fear, panic, or unnecessary emergency response within a community, charging her with felony false alarm or report.
So, and we're going to catch up a little bit more with this, but I wanted to insert just a moment here. Look specifically at the issue that is playing out. You have the government able to say, hey, I'm an injured party, or the community is an injured party. Note what's not present in this case. We don't have an actual complainant. We don't have a plaintiff. We have a defendant in both of these 2 arrests. But notice how the state is the plaintiff. Do you see the problem with that? Because the state can now assume that it can take offense and prosecute, and now you cannot actually interview or cross-examine your accuser. Next cut, Mr. Producer. We're going
The
rapid
new
fire.
lawsuit calls this a campaign of targeted retaliation, and now the mayor wants the Texas Rangers to step in. This is where the water goes right before the water tower and then to people's homes?
Yes.
By now, you've likely heard concerns regarding City of Trinidad's water under investigation by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality.
I've never felt safe to drink the water.
Alex Estrada worked several maintenance roles for the City of Trinidad for more than 3 years.
They didn't maintain the water lines correctly, in my opinion.
Now, Estrada and his sister, the city's water clerk, filed a federal lawsuit claiming they were fired on the very same morning without any legitimate cause, all because the water clerk refused to lie on behalf of Police Chief Charles Gregory and City Administrator Cynthia Dozier. Dozier did not respond to Fox 4's request for comment. The lawsuit claims she said this to the siblings.
I'm firing him, and honey, I'm firing you too. You are done here.
Just last week, Fox 4 interviewed Jennifer Combs, charged with felony false alarm or report by Trinidad Police Department for a Facebook post in which she said she received reports people were hospitalized from the water. A grand jury no-billed her case, dismissing the charge. We still do not know if anyone's been hospitalized, but Combs' arrest sparked freedom of speech concerns from people all across the country.
Now, you might say, well, great. The judge and the county attorney said, hey, this is an unconstitutional arrest. There's no cause here. There's a serious problem with what was done. There's no plaintiff. But the problem is when we accept that government can be an injured party, we have a serious problem vis-a-vis next cut, Mr. Producer.
After months of persistent dirty water issues and 2 lawsuits against the city of Trinidad, tonight city council members voted to remove several city employees from their positions.
KETK's Rachel Davis was there for tonight's meeting and shares reaction from the community.
Thursday evening, Trinidad City Council members faced a packed room full of angry citizens. The council running down an agenda the mayor says he did not support.
They're digging themselves a deeper hole in lawsuits.
The council decided to take action on several agenda items, which included approving a motion voted 3-1 to dismiss Judge Sheila Bevins.
I didn't see anything that was brought up that was grounds for removal.
Because she
feel
let
like that
them
was
off the hook.
Absolutely 100% unlawful to remove her.
The council also decided to vote to remove the city attorney, followed by another vote in favor of hiring outside legal counsel.
It's shocking. It's shocking. We thought when we got this city council in that things would change, because prior to them things were horrible and we were all excited, but we're in a worse situation now than we were before.
What wasn't on the agenda, anything regarding the persistent water issues still plaguing the people who use city water.
I've lived here almost 10 years, and many times the water that has come through my faucets has either been brown or it has sediment in it.
Residents saying they're disappointed with tonight's actions and inactions by the people they elected to lead and take care of their community.
I truly believe we need to get the city council out and start over, because they are not for us. They are for them and them alone. They are not for Trinidad.
Rachel Davis, KETK News.
After months of persistent dirty
Producer.
water issues and
All of that to say, if you missed it, Trinidad, Texas, there's a woman. She complains about the water being unsafe and saying people have reported they've gone to the hospital. She gets arrested.
You can, if somebody told her, hey, I heard so and so went to the hospital because of the water.
She's allowed to say that.
She's allowed to say that. 1,
she's arrested. 2, a guy goes out and protests with a vulgar sign, by the way, has a F the police sign.
Which is legal.
Yeah, which is legal. I don't think it should be. Actually, the F word should not be in public, but that's a different conversation. Right now, it's legal. 2, this other guy is arrested. 3, in the middle of all of this, when the city council comes to the folks who are running the water, I'm just going to recap it. The guy and gal who are working in the city municipal water system say, no, I'm not going to lie for you. We've been bringing this up for years. This is a problem. Honey, you're fired. And so is your sister. That's where the lawsuit came through. So we're now at 2 people arrested, 2 people fired. The county judge and the city judge, because that's where they have the jurisdiction. The city judge and the city attorney both dismissed the case. They say there's no cause for this. This is bonkers. This is not correct. We shouldn't be doing this. There's no reason to charge these people. Both of them are then let go by the city council with no reference as to why the water is running. Now, you might be asking, John Arthur, you mentioned Marxism. You mentioned this idea, the biblical view of government. What do they have to do with some good old boy corruption? Well, the short answer is this. When you give the power that Marxists wish to give to the government, this inevitably follows. And today, we want to go back in history, and we want to look at how we've always viewed the government as a goalkeeper between plaintiff and defendant, but they're responsible to God. They're responsive at least to the moral order. They may, different nations, different cultures always understood the ones that lasted any amount of time and the ones that didn't quickly fell. They understood that the government is responsible to a moral order. And I would say the moral order. However, they at least agreed that there was a moral order that they were responsible to. When you pull that and you allow the government to be a injured party, the only case I can make for this is if the complainant is dead, like in a capital murder case, right? That sort of situation is very rarely needed. However, whether it's a speeding ticket, whether it is a statutory violation, these things, if there's not a plaintiff, we should not, as a free society, allow it. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. So I want to, real quick, open it up. Now that we've gone through, this case is bonkers in Trinidad, Texas.
I will say this. I don't know how big Trinidad is, but I will say in small town America, it's very easy to have this type of corruption. You just don't go in and fire 2 people because you want to fire 2 people. You have to have a reason. But in small town America, where you have certain families that are actually the leaders of a town,
Correct.
and it almost becomes, they become the elite, and then they can dismiss all the other complaints because it's a small town and it's a power grab, and they've held the power for so long. So the reason that she could go in there and fire those 2 people with, I mean, any HR person will tell you, you just don't get to fire somebody. You have to have a reason.
They have no accountability.
And
we've given them the power. We've given them the power to do that by allowing the state to be a plaintiff in anything other than a murder case or something extreme like that. We've given them the ability to assume victim status and a plaintiff status where none exists.
Yeah, and here's the problem. Now that people are aware outside your little town, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You are in trouble. You're going to start answering to some big guns, and they don't care about your little town and your power pole and your elite families that run the town. They don't care.
So the mayor, I don't know if you noticed that, but the mayor is scared of the sheriff.
I was going to say, the county is where this is going to start getting resolved.
Well, it's going to go to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
And now that the Rangers are involved, it's going to go to the state level.
Yep.
And they're going to come in and they're going to kick some butt.
I was going to say,
And that's who needs to get involved is the Rangers.
Yeah.
I think a good, so first of all, some demographics on Trinidad. Trinidad has about 825
I was
people.
gonna
That's
say.
the population.
Something like
And its average age is around 42. Now, we've said this before, and I think it's worth noting here, especially for 825 people. If you want to make a difference in your community and in your local government, get involved.
Yeah.
And now that leads to the next thing. Well, what if this, and I think it was one Brad 2A that brought this up in the comments. Is this all Dems or illegals? Don't know. If it is a large portion of Dems, though, well, you're getting what you deserve.
for.
Yeah, you're getting what you voted for. And I don't wish that on anybody. By the way, nobody did anything wrong here in terms of what attention they were bringing to it. I definitely would have fired the attorney.
Why?
You're out.
He dismissed it.
No. The attorney? The city attorney?
Yes.
The judge and
He
the
said,
attorney.
the
they
judge
said,
and the attorney said, no.
I'm sorry,
no.
I got it backwards.
The city has no case.
No standing.
Why?
Okay.
He said, I'm not going to bring this case
So why did they go out and get a different attorney?
because they're going to they need outside counsel.
Let me
just share something personal that happened to some of our family members just recently, and I'm not going to share who it was. Small town America, okay? Small town, the husband leaves a job, okay? The person at that job, it's small town, doesn't really care for him. So the cousin is now leadership at his new job. And at this new job, his wife and child work at this new place, okay? Well, guess what these 2 cousins get to do? They start talking. Guess who loses their jobs? The husband, his wife, his child, okay? They lose it. And he's saying that's small town politics.
Yeah.
This was the cousin to the guy who wasn't happy with me. And so that's what, and the people at the business were going, what in the world's going on here? These people have been here for a few years. What's going on? What's going on? And it's small town politics. And when I told it to Charlie, I said, he thinks it's small town politics. And Charlie looked at me and goes, it's absolutely small town politics.
So do you really want to allow that structure to be the rule of law across the federal? So let's go ahead and zoom out. And real quick in the live chat, if you're one of our regular listeners, thank you for hundreds of thousands of downloads of the audio anywhere you can find a podcast, Google, Apple, Spotify. Thank you. You can listen live on Sundays 1 to 3 on PSB's channel on Rumble. Alan, in the live chat, see you, buddy. Thank you for listening here in Texas. Glad to see you there. Let's go into a little bit of first principles here. And this is we can talk about small town politics, but if the overall federal law is correctly structured, it's a lot more difficult. It is much, much harder for small town situations like this to get out of hand, let alone the federal stuff that we see happen every day. So I want to go back a little bit, Mr. Producer. I want to go back and look at history. Mr. Producer, next cut. Thank you, sir. And we're going to go back and look at the Levitical law, the Code of Hammurabi, Roman law, English common law, constitutional law, and modern law, and kind of look at how this is all trickled down and flowed out. So first off, I want to go to the Code of Hammurabi, which, if you are unfamiliar, this code established certain obligations and objectives for citizens of Babylon to follow. This included an assertion of the power of the state. This was the beginning of the state-administered punishment. Blood feuds that had occurred previously between private citizens were barred under the code. Protections for the weaker from the stronger were instituted. Widows were to be protected from those who might exploit them. Elder parents were protected from sons who would disown them, and lesser officials were protected from higher ones. Restoration of equity between the offender and the victim was instated. The victim was to be made whole as possible, and of course the victim was no longer allowed to seek vengeance. Do you guys notice how the state and the king were out of it? They were the referee. They were the ones calling balls and strikes between the higher authority figure in the government or business and the lower, between the widow and those who were exacting usury, between the son who was wanting to disown his parents and not have to take care of them, and the parents. The government played referee. What rules did they use? Well, they used the moral order. That is a very different system than what we have seen come to be in the 20th century. It is a very different system, and this new thing is going to topple everything that Western society has built. Now, some people want to say, Hammurabi's code came first. The moral law from God came first. I'm not going to get into that argument because our argument is that Hammurabi ultimately came from Noah, and therefore God's moral law came first. but if you're looking chronologically, what was codified, Moses did come after Hammurabi. So let's go ahead and look at this excerpt from the Levitical law, where it says, Deuteronomy 17:6-7, the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses, at the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of one witness he shall not be put to death. The hand of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people, so that thou wilt put away the evil from among you. Notice a couple things here. This is what's really fascinating about this. You notice it can't be one witness.
Yeah.
And the witnesses had to be examined. They also had to be the first one to throw the stone. Does that mean that you would go to trial and not see your accuser?
Hello.
Uh-oh, red light laws.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, speed infractions, by the way, for the most part. If you have a plaintiff who says, this guy cut me off and tried to kill me, then you have an actual case. I'm building a case for common or natural law here, if you haven't picked up on this. Without common or natural law, you have no firm foundation that will repeatably build a just system. It will only be, the question is not, do you have a just system if you have laws? Do you have a system of laws that are applied equally? That'll answer whether or not you have a just system. In part, the other part is are the laws just in the first place?
Right.
So you have to appeal to the moral order, and if you can't, it's really not a good system. So they had to be put to death. They had to be spoken to. There had to be a trial. There had to be a trial of one's peers, and it couldn't just be one person who could bring a charge. You had to have multiple witnesses. Look at all of the Me Too false allegations that happened. There are a lot of true ones.
Boy.
But there's a lot of, it's estimated 40 to 50% of all SA claims are mocked up.
Yep.
You need to do, and I'm not saying this because I desire, I'm saying this not because I desire that women aren't taken seriously, but rather the opposite. If you are taken advantage of, go to the police, go get a kit done, go ahead and get DNA evidence.
Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait.
Do it immediately.
We have created an environment when what you're saying is absolutely true, but for so many years, children and women would complain and nobody would believe them. Yep. And so we've swung way far to the other side, and we need a balance.
Because a lot of women did lie. It's estimated 40 to 50% of women do lie about this.
Yeah.
And so you need another witness. And
it's a power thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and so you have bad actors on both sides of that issue. The question is make sure you get your evidence as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So, and again, this is something that we should never have left for the death penalty. We should never have gone to circumstantial evidence being enough to put someone on death row. As a proponent of the death penalty, I am only so in the case in context of you have to have 2 or more witnesses.
I would agree with that.
Yes.
You have to have 2 or more, or it is a bad system. Now, Justinian the Great went further to say this. He codified into the Roman law. Thank you. He codified into the Roman law a set of Roman laws into writings, rather, and they were called the Justinian Code. As these writings became known, distinguished between 2 major types of law: public laws, ones that dealt with matters of state, if you will, and then private laws, such as contracts, possessions, and other property rights, the legal status of various persons, such as slaves, husbands, and wives, and injuries to citizens. Notice how in antiquity, it was still an issue of natural or common law. This is building a case. We've traversed 2,500 years worth of law and precedent to this point. Now, I want to go another 1,000 years further into the future, give or take, and go to the Magna Carta. Now, if you guys do not know what the Magna Carta is, just really quick, the Magna Carta was signed on June 15th, 1215 AD, and was later interpreted to grant basic liberties to all British subjects. The U.S. Constitution established certain rights, individual rights, and defined the power of the federal government, and among other things, limited punishment for violations of laws. It really got this from the Magna Carta. And American law combines both common law and written statutes. Statutory laws, unfortunately, are a bastardization of this that are enacted by state legislatures and Congress and are the major sources of American criminal law today. Statutory laws that ultimately do not involve a common law plaintiff are a serious, serious issue. So, again, these laws are compiled in various codes, and that, I think, has also led greatly to case law, which is basically because we've ruled one way, it must be ruled the same way again, which again is by definition a non-concrete, a non-standard waypoint of truth. Your North Star is no longer truth. It is a relative truth standard to use case law as that which must define future law. Case law is interesting. It is valuable. I think there's good insight into it. But the fact that case law now is used to weight and bias because one judge said it 50 years ago, I must say something similar, is the oversimplification of case law, and it is not a great way to run a nation. But rather, you want to hold to moral truth, and the case law has become very, very prominent in this postmodern age. Now, how does the Sixth Amendment deal with this? What's the main piece of the Sixth Amendment I'm going to?
And you're killing me on that one because I do not have that one memorized.
Don't worry, pull it up, Mr. Producer. The Sixth Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Guess what our little Facebook posting lady did not have an accuser. Do you want to live in a world where a cop can get his feelings hurt and arrest you? Do you want to live in that world? That's what case law, statutory law, and all these other non-natural, non-common law constructs equate to. That's what they do. And they do it because they don't come from first principles. They're not biblical. Therefore, if the author of the universe wrote it one way and you decide you want to write it a different way based on a post-truth, postmodern ideology, guess what? It's going to bite you and society in the posterior. Which brings me to the most modern interpretation of law. It really came up in the 1840s and 1850s, 1860s, in that time frame in the left wing of the Enlightenment, but now we know it as Marxist law interpretation. And again, this is from William J. Chambliss. He's writing a treatise on this. I got an excerpt link below. Marxist theories advocate structural change rather than individual correction. They call for policies that reduce social inequality and transform economic relations to address the root cause of crime. They also critique, quote-unquote, law and order approaches that disproportionately punish poor while ignoring crimes of the powerful. By highlighting the ideological function of criminal justice, Marxist criminology supports efforts to democratize, quote-unquote, lawmaking, quotes added by me, increase accountability of policing and courts, and expose and challenge state and corporate crime. Notice the first line there. Marxist theories advocate structural change rather than individual correction. You asked me yesterday off air, where did I think Marxism came from? And what did I tell you? Where did it start?
Oh, the garden.
And that was the Garden of Eden.
Yep.
Karl Marx.
I would say Karl Marx is codifying. Karl Marx is codifying it.
And you know, that's where I should have made a distinction, but that's a really good way to state that.
Because the idea, you start with communism and then you said Marxism. And I said, I think the ideology, the root of it, obviously Karl Marx is the one that codified it and wrote it out.
I would agree with that.
And promoted it. But I would say it goes back to, and I will be able to decide and understand what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is evil.
Well, understanding, but I can
hold on there, because
I'm holding
that's the purpose.
That's
because
it.
Eve didn't want understanding. She wanted to
control,
define.
That's it. That's where I was going. Define.
She wanted to define.
And what you're talking about, the Marxist, is when they're trying to say, well, we can create social structures, and they're putting faith in human beings that are not faithful.
Yeah.
People are very, on the whole, are very selfish.
Correct.
So personal responsibility is so key in having a structured society.
And that's an excellent point, because I think when you look, I was just thinking to myself, okay, well, some could say, well, conservatives want to control. What's the difference?
Yeah, we
okay,
do.
The difference is what you just said: personal accountability, personal responsibility.
And we want to implement godly precepts.
That's it.
What is the point and purpose of government? We could go to Genesis 9, where it says that if someone commits murder, his blood shall be required of his own head, and you're going to be responsible for doing that. But we could also go to Romans 13, 1 through 3. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Notice how it's defining what a ruler is.
Yeah.
Wilt thou then not be afraid of that power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he that is a minister of God is a minister for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is a minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience' sake. For this cause pay ye tribute also, for they are God's ministers. attending continually upon this very thing. Now, notice how it lays out what a minister of God is, what a ruler of God is.
Mm-hmm.
This is someone who is carrying out the moral order. What's the purpose of it? To carry out the moral order. What's the purpose of Marxism as per the definition we just read from Chamberlain?
Change the structure.
Change the structure instead of punishing the individual. You notice how it is 180 inverted at ought with God.
But I also want to share this with you.
Sure.
Think about it, because I have been thinking about this since yesterday when you were talking about it. And these are the thoughts that I had. When Satan came to Eve and said, "Hath God really said?"
Yes.
And you can do this and you can. What was he really introducing to her? Hey, you have free will.
You have choice.
You have a free will.
Yeah.
And you now can be like God, which puts you in a position of power, right? And really what it did was it gave Satan power over Adam and Eve in a way that he never had before. Marxism, it kind of comes, and communism the same way. We're going to create this utopia. Everybody's going to be happy, everybody's going to be equal, everything's going to be great. But really in the long run, those who are leading are those that are in power.
Correct. And what it ultimately always does is it makes people sadder. It makes things less happy. And when you replace God with truth, it's not a good thing. So I'm just a quick note, whether it is the case of Henry Nowak out in Great Britain, where they are ultimately assuming that if you're white, you're the victim, even as you bleed out on the pavement, whether it is an issue of the way that we're dealing with tort reform, the way we're dealing with good police who are just trying to make a good traffic stop, or the police that see that they have too much power due to statutory authority. We need to return to natural law. That's what the nation was founded on here in America. And we have that right and obligation and possibility here. We need to push for that. And I think the church has been woefully underprepared to deal with Marxist ideology. And that brings us to the next section for this week. I'm sorry. I know I'm a child.
I'm sorry. I was just kind of.
You were dancing with that?
This week in Gender Wars, there has been a Reddit post that went viral, and I saw it going around. I think I sent it to y'all. Did you get a chance to read it?
I don't think I did.
You're going to have fun with this one, okay? Okay. Nope. So, landing in hot water with HR. Looks like my title got cut off. Go ahead and throw that up there, Mr. Producer. Landing in hot water with HR. This was deleted from Reddit, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it real quick. I got a new manager 3 months ago. He refuses to be in a room alone with women and will only speak to us if another man is present. HR has supported him in this. So this is the post. It goes some further. The new manager arrived 3 months ago. He has a policy of not meeting with any women unless there's another man present in the door or the door is completely open. He will meet with men alone and frequently does. It's created a situation where male team members of the team walk in quickly. They get to close the door, chat, and get stuff done. Meanwhile, women have to email him first and book an appointment and find someone to accompany us and then have our meeting. It also puts us at a disadvantage in meetings as the men who are able to accompany us are often chummy with this new boss and can intervene in areas which aren't their responsibility. It also creates a situation where highly confidential issues cannot be discussed without people eavesdropping on the conversation. We've spoken to HR, had a chat with our manager. They've ultimately sided with him as they believe the options for a third party or having an open door are sufficient. Is this against some kind of law regarding the treating of men and women differently in the workplace? Can a business justify treating them differently if accommodations have been made, the open door policy, or having a male staff member monitor the conversation, et cetera, et cetera? So imagine his position. He's living in the world of women. Would you rather choose the man or the bear? Oh, I would rather be alone with a bear. She's choosing that. He has to choose between that woman being alone with him or HR. Well, guess what? You're sorry. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't. Guess what? He's in trouble with HR. Steve is dying over here. What do you want to say, Steve?
Man, look here. This guy I feel for him, but he is exactly right.
He's correct.
He is exactly correct. Because I'll tell you what, when you are in that kind of position,
the
last thing you want is somebody going, hey,
making an accusation.
I didn't like what he said to me.
Correct.
Or he gave me a bad review. I'm going to say something about him because we were in there and nobody else saw or heard us, so I can say something and I can get away with it and nobody will know.
Correct.
Bam.
It happens way too often. And you know what? I've had people say
so much it happens. I know way too many people that have lost their jobs over that kind of stuff.
I've had people say stuff about me. Thankfully, I had people with me. And it flipped. I'm sure, Charlie, you've probably had that too.
I've watched this.
I don't think Charlie's been accused.
No, I've not been accused. I've
accused.
never really been over a group of people, though. But I know of people that have. And I would say this. And obviously, some states you can't do this.
Record everything.
There you go.
Record everything.
Get it on video.
Record everything.
Everything.
So I was on a trip, and I've shared this before. I was on a business trip, and your honor can be removed in an instant.
Yes.
Your character is yours. That's between you and God. Your honor and reputation, however, are very tarnishable. There was this guy I know. He was just getting right with the Lord in the past couple of years, and he was considering Greek Orthodox because or Orthodoxy because he was looking at how they have maintained their church. They haven't, like most mainline liturgical Protestant denominations, accepted all sorts of the weird LGBT stuff. And so he's very serious about his faith. Someone did not see him for 10 minutes, and they didn't see this woman for 10 minutes. And they said, oh, they were effing up in the closet.
That is a really dangerous
They
word.
said it in front of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
They said it in front of everyone, in front of 30 people. And it's like, I happen to know that they weren't, because I was in a meeting with two other guys and that woman for that time period. And the reason he went to the bathroom or his hotel room or whatever, I don't know where he was. I know that lady was in meetings all afternoon. And so both her reputation, she had a boyfriend, by the way, her reputation and this guy's reputation are immediately jeopardized. And the good thing is we were able to say, wait a minute, no. That's not the case. That doesn't always happen.
That's right.
That doesn't always happen. So I think this guy is 100% in the right. And we as Christians need to make sure that we have a good answer for this. Sorry, you're smiling.
I'm smiling. First off, I think the gentleman, I would say, you should not even be in a room alone with a man, not in the day and age that we live in, because you could still be accused of something by a man. Number two, a lot of companies have gone to glass walls so that you can shut the door, but everybody can see that the two of you are in there and having a conversation. And I will share this. At the age of 18, I was working someplace, and I went to the restroom, which was in this lady. It was a strange situation, but the restroom was off this one room where this lady and man worked, okay? So they had offices adjourned next to where the bathroom was, right? And it was a one-stool bathroom, so only one person used the bathroom at a time. And I'm going to the restroom, and they both come out of the bathroom.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, they were having an affair.
Yeah. So you want to have every bit of protection from this. All these women, do you remember the whole thing? Would you rather, if you're walking alone in the woods, dear lady, would you rather meet a bear or a man? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did you hear this, Mr. Producer?
No.
So there was a meme going around for the better part of 3 months.
Yes.
Where all these women says, I would choose the bear. I would choose the bear because I don't know what a man's going to do to me. And it's like, lady,
do you know what a bear's?
Have you ever met a bear in the woods? I have. It is not comfortable.
You ever run into a wild bear, lady?
I don't think you have. Had you heard about this?
I have not, but I have to tell you, my first thought is, neither one? I don't want to run into either one.
I would much rather meet a man in the woods than a bear.
About a woman. Would you like to meet a woman in the woods?
Probably not for the very reasons that we're talking about. But everyone asks the woman, would you rather man or bear? Man or bear? And now you ask me, man, would you rather meet a woman or a bear? But no one asks, Mr. Producer, the bear, what he thinks.
I need a private meeting.
Talk to the bash, sweetheart.
Oh, no, not again. Not her. No, not again.
No one asks the bear if he wants to deal with her. And so I'm just saying.
Oh, no, not again.
Not again. Not her. Please no. Please no. Not her.
Not that Karen.
So, no one asked the bear. Ladies, so now that you know that we would rather not be alone with you, especially if you have a septum bull ring and colored hair, and you think that you would rather meet the bear, we don't want to be in a room alone with you if you're that woman. We don't. You know why? Our lives are valuable. Our honors and reputations are valuable. And now they're surprised.
Yep.
They're shocked that for some reason, men don't want to be alone in a room with them. Maybe it's because you picked the bear. Maybe it's because you think that I am that dangerous that you would rather pick a bear. Maybe that's why this guy said, for HR reasons, I don't want to have a woman in my cubicle or office alone. I think it's totally reasonable. It's totally righteous, and he should do that. Now, I think feminism, to your point, Miss Nikki, has made people grossly unhappy.
Absolutely. Sure.
And unfortunately, it has seeped its way into the church. So for Gender Wars this week, I had to put one more thing in. Do y'all remember Pearl Davis? Do you know who Pearl Davis is?
Oh,
Pearly
the name.
Things.
Or the name?
Yes.
She's that crazy ginger who's red pill. So she's a former Catholic. She's a former Catholic, but she's largely departed from the faith. Grew up in a large family.
She
Christian
used
family.
to be fairly conservative, though,
She
at
still
one
is.
time.
She still is.
She still is?
She still is. Red pill is not really conservative, though. I call it kind of down the middle of the line, coded right. It's coded conservative.
But you know.
Let's go ahead and play the clip before you comment. Let's go ahead and play the clip. She was out in front of a Catholic church, and she had a sign. And the sign said, should wives obey their husbands?
Ooh.
Should wives, and by the way, she had just done this a week earlier at a mega church, and she got very similar results. This is the supercut from her intro to her full video. By the way, link in the description below. Anywhere you can find Further Every Day. Go ahead and play the first minute, Mr. Producer.
Wasn't that at a mega Baptist church or something like that?
Go ahead and play the clip, Mr. Producer.
It should Christian women obey their husbands? What do you think about women taught Bible studies?
Taught?
What's the problem with the sign? What's wrong with the word obey? So
maybe not everybody wants to see something like that as they're leaving church.
So the Christian men should obey their wives.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a disconnect between what you understand are Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Christian women are in a marriage with a Christian husband.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read the entirety, you'll see that what it says is have respect and love for one another. It's not one-sided. If you take it out of context like that, there are so many things that can be misinterpreted.
God is a crown that has been given to men to be the head of the family.
So go ahead if you want to and watch the whole hour and 20 minutes. But if you don't have the time to listen to all these people at this Catholic church, I don't remember which denomination the mega church was. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, though.
The half, I would say more than half. It was about 7 out of the 10, give or take. I didn't count exactly how many, had no good answer for her. And they had no solid answer.
I noted that.
And there were like 3 guys who had the answer. The short answer is, yes, wives must obey their husbands. Husbands must obey God and submit to him. And in part of that, the man is to die to his own needs and live for the family. And in part of the family is the wife and then also the kids. The guy is supposed to submit to God, and a guy that's submitted to God is a guy that a woman should submit to. And the two should have a conversation about any important decision. The woman should have input. But if there's a question after they've debated it, the man has the responsibility of making the decision. He also has the responsibility of fixing the problems that come if they do from that decision. It's the woman's job to support that husband. So first off, marry a good guy. But Miss Nikki,
Yes.
isn't it strange that guys have a hard time answering that question?
Yes, I think there's a lot of people who have a hard time in understanding the scripture as it comes. Now, you can ask Charlie, am I an obedient wife? And the answer would be, am I an opinionated wife?
I plead the fifth.
No,
Okay.
you don't.
So, am I opinionated?
I plead the fifth.
The answer is yes, I am. Do you appreciate my opinions?
Yes.
Do you, before you make any major decisions, do we make decisions together?
Almost 100% of the time.
And if I'm not in agreement, do you go forward with that decision?
Typically not.
Because?
There's got to be unity. To move forward, you got to have unity.
Now, are there times that we have determined after 40 years of marriage that probably you have a better judge of character than I do? So if you say, stay away from that person now, today I would say, yeah, he's got a good sense there, I better stay away from that person. Or if you say something like, Nikki, don't do that, I don't think that's a good idea. Do I listen to you?
Mm-hmm.
But that's 40 years of two people who are serving the Lord, but also respecting each other. I think the greatest thing that you will find in our marriage is respect. I really respect Charlie, and he really respects me.
And if you watch the whole video, someone actually laid it out, and they said, really, to love a man and to honor a man is to respect him.
Yes.
And I've watched that in your life.
And it's the one thing, and if there's one thing that if there's any of you females out there that are looking to get married or of the such, or maybe you're trying to affect or impact your marriage now, I would say the one big thing that you should do is make sure that you respect your husband. Show that respect. It is the single biggest thing that a man wants.
Correct.
Bar none. Bar none.
Bar anything.
That's right. The man wants respect. And I'm just speaking strictly from the male perspective here. I do want to say that the one thing I wished people had done, and I have not watched that video.
3 of them did a good job.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would have come back to her with first thing is, so are you saying that men or women should disobey their husbands? What do you you've
mean
asked
by
a question. That's exactly right.
And her perspective, if you actually ask her to define terms, and a couple of them did, she responded with, well, she said, you know, I used to be a Catholic, and I guess I still am. If I had to attend a church, it'd be a Catholic one. But I've seen that a lot of churches aren't teaching that women should submit to their husbands. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with America is that we have an effeminization of the culture.
So she wasn't trying to contradict God's word. She was trying to get people to defend what was written in God's word.
Correct.
Got it? Okay.
Correct. She's not even, I would say she's a non-practicing, in fact, I think she even used the words non-practicing Catholic.
This to me is the heart of why we as Christians lose so much respect in the marketplace.
She's a millennial who has walked away from the church more or less because of the effeminate nature, not feminine, effeminate nature of the church.
We need to be asking, what do you really mean when you say that or ask that,
and they
as opposed to just...
They called the cops on her.
Wow.
And they had her move across the street. It was very petty and very silly.
That's awful.
And she's literally... Look, it was a Catholic church. If I were the priest, I would hope that I would have the church security awareness to say, hey, is there a problem? Yes or no? Oh, well, you can stay there and then wrap it into next week's homily.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, why wouldn't you wrap that into next? You know, we had an interesting lady outside a week ago. She was asking, should wives obey their husbands? This is a great teaching moment.
Exactly.
But instead, what they did is to kick this lady out, Right. So I think it represents a failure of the church to answer these questions and for us to be ready, which brings us to the next cut. I want to go over this study on who in the culture believes that women and men should have traditional gender roles. Go and throw it up there. If you'll look at the points on this, if you're on audio, I'm sorry, we'll try to describe it. Between boomers, Gen X, and millennials. If the screen is small, the cyan is female, the purple is male. Baby boomers believe that wives should always obey their husbands. 13% of baby boomers believe that in the male, 6% of the women. 21% of Gen Z, 13% of Gen Z women, 29% of millennial males, 18% of millennial females. Gen Z, highest. 31% of the males believe that wives should obey their husbands, and 18% of Gen Z females believe that wives should obey their husbands. So you see an upward trend. This is the most based, if you will, generation. I say that in scare quotes. This is the most engaged in truth generation that we've had in years. They want to know the truth. So what do we proffer them? By hiding the ball. I got a couple more.
Are
Go
these
ahead, Steve.
questions being asked to how many are female and how many are male?
So did you see the percentage?
No.
Yeah, so the percentage, the cyan one was women and the purple one was men. Okay. Right? So you're being asked over, I believe it's 18 countries, if memory serves. Someone can fact check me, but actually the study is in the link below. klc.ac.uk, almost a third of Gen Z males agree that a wife should obey her husband is the name of the article. And they actually have a good set of data. There were a couple of studies that they lost some data due to a corruption in the poll, but they note those when they happen. So next one is a real woman should never initiate marital interactions. Who agrees? Baby boomers, only 7% agree. Gen X, 12% agree. And again, men and women tied neck and neck. Millennials sorry, I'm actually reading the wrong poll. Let me come back because, Mr. Producer, you have a different one up. I'll do that one. A woman should not appear too independent or self-sufficient. Let's go and deal with that poll real quick. 12% of men agree in baby boomer. 9% of female. In Gen X, 16% of Gen X men, 13% of Gen X women believe a woman should not appear too independent or self-sufficient.
What does that mean?
And that's a great question. You see 24% of Gen Z males and 15% of Gen Z females agree with that. And I think that that's a significant question. What does that mean? But I think the based on what I was reading in the study, and how they conducted it, it was, should a woman be focused on coming off as a boss babe? Like, should a woman be taking on a traditional role? Should she be more interested in being the dominant?
I don't think either one of them should be interested in being dominant.
Well, the dominant pay
the breadwinner.
Well, you know how.
Oh, the breadwinner. Okay.
You know how they'll have.
Thank you.
In some relationships, women that just want to rule the roost.
It's a dom versus something.
Over guys and.
Yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
Who's dominant and who's submissive, right?
Right.
So, and again, Gen Z, you see this high spike. But what's interesting is millennial women were more bought into the traditional values than Gen Z women. Millennial males are more bought in than millennial males. So it's just a steady increase.
Interesting how
because it's really the Instagram, TikTok generation,
Yeah.
And the phenomena that come with that.
I think Rottweiler, you've nailed it, and those were the verses that were running through my mind while we were talking about this. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church.
Correct.
And he is the Savior of the body.
Correct. And
Husbands,
that's where we're going.
love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. Those are phenomenal verses.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's that's where we're coming from, and that's where we're going to. So I was going to bring that up later, but
I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I thought that
chat.
was really just a poignant time to pull that.
So try this one, Mr. Producer. A real woman should never initiate a matter of intercourse. 7% of boomers believe this. 12% of Gen X believe this. Millennials, 16% of males and 14% of females believe that a woman should never initiate. In Gen Z, 21% of males and 12% of females believe that a woman should
What
never
the heck?
initiate. Now, here's my counter to that. I am not married, but I think both should initiate in some way,
Yes.
shape, or form. I think the purpose, though, in the context of this, is who should be the pursuer, and should the man be the more the one who's pursuing more. I understand the difference. I actually will disagree with that 21% of Gen Zs. I think that both should pursue each other, but I do believe that the guy is the initiator overall.
Yes.
He ought to be the initiator overall. But I think it's fascinating that you have that.
You'll get over
disparity.
that after you get married.
Look, guess what? I'm hoping from your lips to God's ears. Hey, look, if a woman wants to initiate, I'm not going to sit there and cross my arms and complain. I'll say it that way. So
A lot of things change when you get married, brother.
Amen. That's right.
I don't think about this too often. So I haven't game theoried this out, and I will not. So we will move on. Next cut, Mr. Producer. Men are being expected to do too much to support equality. Percentage of those who agree. You actually see a steady increase across the board. I don't want to get too nerdy on the stats, but you will see that everyone's starting to come to a consensus. At least we're getting warmer to one from 0. That the majority of men and even 41% of Gen Z females believe that men are having to work harder so that women are in a equitable position. And I would agree with that.
Oh, I agree with that.
Men are the one that are doing the sewage. We're doing the oil workers. We're doing the underwater welding, things that women just are 0.1% or 1% represented in.
No, I don't have any problem. I understand when two people are going to work and they come home at night and the baby's crying and needs his pants changed or supper needs to be made, and the man needs to help and participate in those responsibilities. I don't have a problem with that. I think
As
that's
a stay-at-home wife who stayed at home most of your...
Well, if you're a stay-at-home wife, your supper's already made before he probably gets home, more than likely. But it is a lot to run all that and to do all that. But I will say this, be very careful for women who say, I'm never taking the garbage out. That's a man's job. Because you want him to do the wash, you want him to vacuum, you want him to do all the household chores that you do. But when it comes to mowing the yard, taking out the trash, changing the oil in the car, and doing those things, that's not your role. So you can't have it both ways. You've got to make sure that you're not just sitting there like a prima donna thinking that everything that you do, he has to do too. But then when it comes to the ugly and dirty work, you don't have to participate.
Correct. It's an issue of, are we both taking on roles and accepting those roles?
I was going to say,
and
it's a balanced approach. Teamwork makes the dream work. And I'll just say this, for a man, if that's the kind of thing that they have to face when coming home,
yeesh. We'll go to the pub.
They're gonna work longer.
We'll go to the pub. Thank you. We'll go out with the boys.
Yep.
We'll do whatever it is.
Yep.
So again, last cut on this, but we're watching the culture slowly shift. So we should keep pushing. We see from 42% up to 57% from boomers to Gen Z males, we have gone too far in promoting women's equality so that we are now discriminating against men. And Gen Z females are only 38% more likely to say that over the 29% from boomer women.
Wow.
So all that to say, we are seeing a difference, but and an upward trend. What we need to do is we need to be living this out. We need to be living in truth, and we need to be proving that there is a different way to live. And I think if we do, we can actually do a good job.
Agreed.
So I got one more for you, and then we're moving on. Iran watch. What's going on with Iran? Have y'all been following that?
Yeah, so there's one overwhelming thought that comes to my mind with respect to where all of this lands. I don't think there's any doubt, and this is for Democrat or Republican, I don't think there's any doubt that Donald Trump cannot approach the midterms without this thing being resolved.
Correct.
There's no way. There's no way. So to see this happening is very interesting, not surprising. The one thing that very much concerns me, and I think this is played out in the media here, is this. Do not, under any circumstance, yield on the topic of the uranium.
Correct.
Period.
Correct.
Period. That is a non-negotiable. We walk out with it. We destroy it. Don't care. It will be gone. Period. That's number one. Number two, the Strait of Hormuz will be free, or we will bomb the snot out of your country.
So actually, we have an exclusive from the Iranians who were providing their plan for new tolls or fees on the Strait of Hormuz. If you can get that, Mr. Producer, it's cut number 24. Number 24.
We hold the world ransom for $100 billion.
If Trump allows them to actually charge a toll,
they're not going to charge them.
It's not a good thing. So Trump needs to also make sure that is minimized or totally excluded from the deal. But I agree with you. The uranium is the main thing.
Yeah.
So I was going to play that clip, but I do think we need to get into Nikki Knows Facts.
Oh, we can do that, yes.
Go ahead.
Inept robber. No camels are allowed on the highways in Nevada. He has a hacksaw. This is not a mannequin. This is a human corpse.
That was a good episode. That was.
So if you ever want to go back and watch Nikki Knows Facts, they are definitely...
They're funny.
She has an eclectic grouping of data stats. And
that is a very accurate term.
So...
1901 to 19...
No.
Mr. Charlie made a
I'm pulling the years off.
Next one, Mr. Producer.
Next one, we are traveling through 1939 to 1954.
See?
I think most of you are going to be very familiar with what we're going to go over.
You're a little
we're going to talk about World War II, which, the United States tried to stay out of World War II. We really just finished up with World War I. But what happened is they bombed Pearl Harbor, and we forced us into World War II. Go ahead.
I thought that was World War XI.
It is. if you are, yeah.
I'm ready for Fast and Furious number 33.
Yes.
Continue on.
Yes, I do.
Or I guess if you're doing by orders of magnitude, it would be Fast and Furious number 200. But anyway, continue. Yep.
So if you remember from the last time, the Great Depression, we were just in the Great Depression, or coming out of it. And so when we ended up in World War II, the factories shifted to wartime production, which helped bring America out of the Great Depression. But also, if you saw the picture up there, that is Rosie the Riveter. So women had to start filling, I can't even talk today, filling positions that men normally had because the men were going off to war. Also in this, you remember D-Day. Remember what D-Day is?
Yeah.
Everybody here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the Normandy invasion, which helped liberate Europe and the Nazi control. There was also some rationing that affected food, fuel, and household supplies across America.
Did you have pictures for these?
Yes, you did.
Didn't you put it up there? The next one?
Yep. Next one.
Oh. Put the next cut. I'm sorry. There's Rosie the Riveter. There you go.
Yep.
Okay, you can move on to the next clip
Then we got
here.
Pearl Harbor.
At least
Pearl
it's
Harbor.
not O'Donnell.
Charlie and I were at Pearl Harbor, actually. It's really
That is an incredible
yes.
place. And by the way,
yes.
If you go there with your kids, folks, if they're not well behaved, don't go.
Yeah.
Just don't, because they're not going to let you on.
It's a tomb. You're going to a tomb. The bodies are still in there.
When Nikki and I were there, before you get into that that picture there, there were some folks that were not adhering to the rules of when you go into that area. And the security basically told them, put a lid on it.
What's really disturbing was all the Japanese people there. And they were
There's a lot.
And they were speaking Japanese and, all.
Yep.
I don't know what was being said. But anyway, this happened on December 7th, 1941, which we declared war on Japan right after it happened, 2,400 Americans were killed that day. And many of those bodies, I think there's 1,100 bodies entombed in that ship that we just saw.
And yes, the oil is still coming up.
Yes, we
saw
saw the
it.
oil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Still.
Wow.
So part of the ship, I mean, you can see part of the ship. You know, it's under, it's really, it's sad, but anyway. So we declare war on Japan, and the next day Germany and Italy, they're the ones that declare war on us. I didn't realize that part of it. But it did unite the United States. They were strongly united for this war, which, you know, it's a hard thing to go to war. But because of what happened, it really did, Pearl Harbor really did push America into the war, and we were united behind it. The next one here, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Now, we talked about him before, but he served 4 terms at 16 years as president. He guided America through the Great Depression, through World War II. He was the one that strengthened programs for federal government. Now, some parts of that I say yay, some parts of that I say nay.
I say nay to all of it, but continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you saw the one picture there, he had fireside chats with America during these times.
Brilliant.
It was brilliant for him to do that. He was also the one that approved the Manhattan Project. And do you know what that was?
Yeah.
You would, of course you would know.
Well, it's the creation of the nuclear program.
Yes, it was the atomic weapons.
We gave the Japanese two beautiful sons, and we've heard nothing but complaints ever since. Continue on.
Yes.
New sunrise.
Now, you know, at the time, I thought this was a really good idea. He helped establish plans for the United Nations. I'm not so sure it's such a good plan anymore, but it was a good idea back then. People thought
the New Deal.
No,
the United Nations.
The United Nations.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Now, he died in 1945 as president. He died in office, and so then Harry Truman came behind him and took that place. But let's go on to the next one. What else? And we're still in World War II, the Holocaust. Yes, the Holocaust is real. 6 million Jewish people did die. They also, in Germany, went after disabled people.
Yeah, they went over. So it was actually about 12 million in the Holocaust itself, when you consider disabled, gypsies, blacks, in addition to the 6 million Jews.
You know, if you ever read up on it, the soldiers would show up at a hospital that had crippled people, and they would request them to be brought out so they could kill them. And sometimes doctors and nurses would hide them to prevent them from being killed.
Yep.
Concentration camps. This shocked the American soldiers when they actually did invade over there. Charlie and I have been at Dachau. I believe that was in Austria, was it not?
Dachau.
Dachau.
Yeah.
The furnace was real. The ditches where they had the bodies, it's real. They had a lot of newsreels. The Germans were very proud of what they were doing, and they recorded a lot of it. If you've ever been to the Holocaust Museum, my husband refused to go. He wouldn't go today. It's very awful to see what they were doing to the Jews. However, after the war in 1948, because of what happened, Israel was able to become a nation again. And, you know, I don't know if you understand history, but Israel was really chased out of one country after another country after another country. They were vagabonds throughout the earth for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And in 1948, under Truman, they were able to become a nation. I do want to put this in here. I did read Roosevelt was not a fan of the Jews. As a matter of fact,
No.
a lot of Jews were...
Most of the Democrats were very, very much against the Jews. Dachau, by the way, was in southern Germany.
I apologize for that.
But yeah, the Democratic Party was very much in favor of getting rid of the Jews. They considered them to be undesirables.
So there were many people that applied to come to America during that time, and they were denied.
Correct.
They were.
They have a Holocaust museum in Israel also.
Yeah. They
that
got one
I
in
visited
Houston.
when I was in Israel, which is very interesting.
They've got one in Houston, and they have all these LGBT pride things there, which is great. said no one.
Yeah.
Continue on.
All right, next one.
Critical theory, so wonderful for the Jews.
The bombing of Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Sarcasm.
So the Manhattan Project comes to fruition, and Truman approves of dropping the bomb. And, it is terrible, and scientists can debate the morality of it. It did end the war. Japan surrendered, and a lot of people died.
The firebombing of Tokyo was so much more devastating. I am so tired of Tucker Carlson's argument about it was immoral. It's like, dude, we killed more in one firebombing in Tokyo.
You can't take anything Tucker Carlson says. He
God bless you, brother.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh.
He doesn't ever stay consistent.
It's like, dude, it was a good call. Now you can make an argument because there was a pro surrender faction, but the anti-surrender faction kidnapped the emperor in the middle of all of this. So you can make an argument. There's a whole story. Anyway, I don't want to derail you.
Well, no,
it's an interesting story.
It is.
And how that panned out.
But the Soviet Union is watching this. The world is watching this, and they see the power behind that America has. It scares everybody.
You can thank the last 80 years of peace on the Manhattan Project, on everyone who made the decision.
Yeah.
It was the correct decision.
It's not always a fun decision, and nobody likes it.
No one
likes it. Next one, the Cold War. The Soviet Union and the United States. Now, Charlie and I grew up with the Cold War, and it wasn't a war fought with guns, but the United States and the Soviet Union were competing for global influence. Do you remember the gentleman that we had on here? And they realized after World War II that the Soviets realized that they would need, spiritual help? Remember that?
So they would get involved with psychics.
Yes, to figure out how they were going to beat the United States.
Correct. So remote viewing, which is, by the way, is totally real. I just have no desire to do it because you're consorting with things that I really don't want to be exposed to.
Yes.
Entities you don't want to be involved with.
Correct.
Remote viewing is totally real.
Correct. So there was a fear of communism that was spreading throughout America at this time also. But I just want to tell you, before World War II, there was a growing movement for communism. Now, it happened during the Great Depression, so when you have people that can't make a living, they're going to look for...
Yeah, the Communist Party was running throughout the teens. It started in the teens. They immediately started doing that.
But after World War II, it was a totally change. NATO was formed during this time because of the Soviet Union to help stop.
We needed a defense against this monolith of power.
Yes. The Soviets, by the way, they teach that they're the ones that stopped World War II, not the Americans, by the way.
Yep.
I have heard that.
I wonder why.
The Cold War influences politics, science, and education. And the Cold War lasted for decades. It lasted for decades. When Reagan stood up there and told Gorbachev to bring down that wall, and then the wall comes down, and the Soviet Union breaks up, and now we have Russia again. And it's just interesting how history works. On to number 7, the Korean War. My father will tell you this was a political war. And I think you're going to find out why here in a minute. North Korea invades South Korea in 1950. The United States joined the war under the United Nations leadership. Good thing, bad thing, I'm not sure. I have questions. We fought against North Koreans and the Chinese forces. Now, Douglas MacArthur was a famous wartime leader, but did you realize that Truman removed him from command?
And he shouldn't have. He should have let him go all the way up into China.
I was going to say the same thing.
He should have let him do it.
He was relieved from command for public insubordination. He wanted to expand the war. No, he was a soldier who said, if we're going to win this war,
we have to go all the way through up into China.
This is why my father said this was a political war, and you don't win political wars.
And I think one of the most difficult, and for those that are criticizing Trump for what he did in Venezuela, You're looking at a repeat of the Korean situation.
Correct. And if he can manage to keep Iran short, it will be exactly what MacArthur wanted for the Korean War. But
hit him hard, hit him fast.
Be done.
Be done. Yes. By the war ended in 1953, but not with a peace agreement. There was no peace agreement that was signed. There was a peace treaty, but nobody signed anything. So in other words, and I'm using my dad, but my dad loved history, and this is what you didn't win.
Yeah.
Nobody won.
We're about to lose the Korean War finally. If the Sunshine Party wins in South Korea, they're going to reunite with the North Korean, and they're going to find out just how bad it's going to get. So it might
think that's happening.
That is the design of the Sunshine Party, and they are gaining popularity. Don't want to get into South Korean politics right now, but it is ugly, it is evil, and the left is eating out.
I think we should look at that in a future episode.
Yeah, it's a wonderful case study in what happens when you don't understand your history. But continue.
Okay, number 8, and I am happy for this one. Brown versus Board of Education. The Supreme Court rules that school segregation is unconstitutional in 1954. Thank goodness. The case overturned the separate but equal doctrine. Thurgood Marshall was one who argued the case for the NAACP.
NAACP.
Okay.
Parlance. Yeah.
Da-da-da. I know I said it wrong, but Charlie loves to correct me, so I have to give him something to correct.
That's the NAA.
CP.
Moving right along.
Yes. But now, this did inspire future civil rights activism. However, public schools were pretty slow at the segregation.
In fact, it had to be enforced at gunpoint.
Yes, some places it did. They did not want to integrate, and I'm glad we did. I'm glad we're.
And who's trying to?
Hello.
Who's trying to segregate again? I'm just saying. Continue.
Yeah. So, it became a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. Moving on to number 9, because I know we're short on time, so I want to keep it going here. Henry S. Truman. He became president when Roosevelt died, but he actually won the next election after that. He was the one that actually made the decision that, yes, we'll go ahead and drop the bomb on Japan. He did help with creating the United Nations. Now, here we go. He introduced the Truman Doctrine to help fight communism. They were very afraid of communism coming into the United States.
They were right.
They were right.
McCarthy was right.
Yes. In a lot of ways, yes. Now, of course, he faced challenges with the Korean War, and he helped shape some of the early Cold War policies. Moving on to number 10, here we go. McCarthyism and the Red Scare. Now, when I was taught this in school, it was in a negative toward McCarthy, and I think there's some ways
some
to
of
be.
It's legitimate.
Yes. There was fear of communism throughout the United States after the war. Joseph McCarthy claimed communists had infiltrated the government. Whether they did it,
I believe that.
They had. I'm just saying, McCarthy was right.
He was right. But the problem with McCarthy, and I'm not going to say he went off the rails.
The way he
went about accusing
was not good.
Without the
evidence.
The evidence.
That was a big issue.
Yes.
That was the issue.
Yes.
He was a little bit Alex Jonesy. And
Yes.
Alex Jones.
Yes.
Now, maybe recently Alex Jones has been a little bit further off than I would care. But way back in the day when I first started following him in the early 2000s, I remember my eyes just wide opening to the whole Bohemian Grove story and a lot of the other stuff that Alex Jones is bringing up. I just couldn't listen to Alex Jones because of his tone, his tenor, and the way that he ran stuff. You know, he's a master. He's a master at social media. McCarthy would have been really good at social media. He was born too many decades too early.
Yeah, I think it was more fearful and just pointing fingers. I mean, he talks here about Hollywood actors and writers were blacklisted. Once you got accused back then, how do you defend yourself?
Yeah.
People lost their jobs and they could have been completely innocent.
Correct.
But he did lose public support because he was aggressive in his investigations.
He didn't do a good job with it, but he
Well,
was right.
And I was going to say the turning point for him was the public debate.
Yeah, he lost that because
when
of
he
his
lost
tone
that,
and tenor, and that's
yep.
why we as conservatives need to make sure that we continue the public debate in a way that's sustainable.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. And that is 1939 to 1954.
Thank you.
And I got that done somewhat in good time.
Yeah. Steve Shenanigans. Next.
I can go shoot me a buffalo.
Nope.
Stay out of my garbage can. I'll keep it to myself.
So, real quick, I just want to respond to some comments in the live chat. Thank you, Rottweiler, for your kind words. Dawn of a New Day, we will do Alfred the Great and William the Conqueror in the future. So, have no fear, we will do those. Steve,
yes,
what you got for us today?
Man, we're going to do some target shooting today.
Ooh. It's 2:30, so make like an IPSEC shooter and bang, bang.
Bang, bang. Alrighty.
Yeah. IPSEC's a competition under speed.
Picture there, Captain. First thing we're going to talk about when we go to the range, and this is an indoor range, as you can see, where the targets move back and forth, you've got paper targets. Okay, when you go to a range and you shoot, you usually have an outdoor range or an indoor range. Indoor ranges, you'll have paper targets to shoot at. Next picture, sir. Now, when you're shooting at paper targets, a lot of people have not so good a shots. This character here looks like a pretty good shot.
I like it, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
I went shooting in Florida while I was there, and Ralphie was feeling extremely spiritual. He was very holy. And I mean, he didn't have a heart left.
That's good.
He was done.
Good holy heart.
He was holy.
I like that kind
that's a different kind of holy than holy is the Lord God Almighty.
Oh,
it's a little bit different holy.
Sorry. Keep going.
When we're talking about a holy man,
that's all right.
It can have multiple interpretations.
That's a good one.
Continue on.
Now, back to that picture, sir. We're going to, that's all right. You can go to that picture too.
Okay, whatever you say,
Now,
Mr.
what
Steve.
we're going to do now is we're going to go to the outdoor range.
I want to go.
That's hearing those things ding is fun.
Exactly. That's why I got ding. This is what is great. This is my favorite part of shooting here.
At range?
Are these still targets at a range. There's
Totally
something
agree.
about
300
hearing
yards,
that thing go ding.
I love it.
At 300 yards, you need steel. And out.
Or even when you're just pistol shooting.
Oh, they're so fun.
Man, that is so much fun.
Have you seen the
Anywhere
ones that
from
are tuned so
15,
that it's a
10,
piano key?
15, out to 25 yards.
You could shoot Dixie.
Oh,
Dun, 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 dun. You can do that.
They even have targets that are harmonic targets now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Want it.
I can see a new men's event coming on.
I want it.
That's not going to be no men's event.
Now, if you show that target back up,
Miss Nikki
the
wants
steel
part of the
target.
action.
Yeah.
If you'll notice, these are round targets here, and they're hung by a chain. There's a reason they're hung by a chain, so that the targets don't get hit from what they're being hung by bullets, so that they don't start flopping around and just kind of dancing around. Sometimes that's kind of neat to catch them when they swing, though.
Yeah.
You know, you can catch, one swinging back and forth.
No, but you got to control it because that causes undue wear.
Correct.
And also,
and it's best to have it when it's just hanging. And plus, it allows, when those steel targets are set, they're set at an angle so that you have no, what they call sprawl coming back at anybody when you're shooting a pistol, because it's angled so that when you shoot, the sprawl goes down towards the ground.
And always shoot with frangible ammunition if you're within 10 yards.
10 yards or less.
Always shoot with target ammo that disintegrates. It's a compressed copper bullet that just kind of disintegrates, as opposed to throwing lead back into your eye.
Can we all agree? Don't shoot at one of those kind of ranges without your eyewear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
definitely.
do that.
Always go to a range and shoot with eyewear.
Also, make sure when you pick those hostage targets, understand that if the bolt is exposed, you might accidentally blow that bolt apart. I might have done that a couple times to people.
You did not?
Not intentionally, but shooting at 100 yards and doing the bonk, 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 bonk. One of them hit right in the center. Yeah.
When you're doing it with like high-powered
Iron sights.
rifles, that happens sometimes.
SKS, open sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
And yes,
one there, Captain.
Child of the highest king.
Now, what
Exactly
we
right.
have here is called a shooting tree.
Those are fun.
This one here I made. You can buy them, but this one I made myself. Now, what they have are 6 targets. They flap back and forth to each side. You have 3 on one side, 3 set to one side, and the idea is for 2 people to shoot at your red, or 1 at the red, 1 at the white, and you try to flip all on your side to the other person's side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
Good competition.
It's a competition. One side of the target is red, one side's white, and you try to flip them all to one side before the other person gets them to your side.
It's fun.
And
Let's
it's
do
a
it,
neat
Mr. Producer.
competition. It's a lot of fun.
It sounds like
You can go through a lot of rounds doing it, but it's a lot of
If
fun.
you got good shooters, you can be standing there an
Ping pong,
awful
ping pong,
long
pong,
time.
pong, pong, pong,
You
pong.
can. You sure can.
Let's do it, Mr. Producer. You versus me.
It's a lot.
Yes.
Shooting trees are a lot of fun.
I think the clay pigeons are my funnest, but trees are the
funnest.
next.
Shooting trees a lot of fun.
Funnest?
And there's another one we're going to show, which is a lot of fun. Next one, sir. Now, this is a steel torso. Okay.
Do you see the exposed bolt? Make sure you have something that covers that. That's AR 500. Continue.
Yes. Now, all the
Don't ask me how I
targets
know.
that we've shown so far, all the steel targets we've shown so far have all been what is called an AR 500 steel. They've all been 3/8 inch that we've shown. Now, those are good out at 300 or at 100 yards and beyond for high-powered rifles, 10 yards and out for pistol. Okay? The closest you can get for any kind of pistol, even a Magnum, is, I think, 10 yards, even for a Magnum pistol on steel targets. But you got to make sure that you have them at an angle.
Correct.
They
Always.
all steel has to be in an angle. Now, that torso was set up on a T-post. They have mounts for T-post, and they have mounts for 2x4s.
It's
but
like
the
a 15
2x4
degree angle, right?
Excuse me?
It's like a 15 or a 20 degree angle.
I think it's a 20 degree.
Yeah.
That's what I put the shooting tree at, was 20 degrees.
Which is correct.
Yeah. So steel torso's a lot of fun, and you can paint different spots on your steel torso on what you want to shoot. So, spray paint of different colors is real neat, and you can put different designs on them or whatever you want to do on your torsos. Next picture, sir. Now, this one is my funnest one that I have with. This is what they call the steel hostage. Okay. Now, as you can see, they've got the person, which is your hostage, which is the white person, which is the one you're not supposed to shoot. Okay. Now, the red is the one that you're supposed to shoot. That is supposed to be the bad guy's face. Okay. Or his head. That is the one that you're supposed to shoot, is the red, not the white one. So if you're hitting the white, you have just shot your hostage.
That's a
so
bad
all
thing.
you're supposed to shoot is the red. Now, who on here, and let's see if you can do it in the comments, can tell me when you're shooting in the head, the best area in the head to shoot.
It's called the T.
No.
It's called the T box, is what they teach you in SWAT. It's
Yes.
right here.
I'm looking for the nose.
It's right between and I'll go ahead and say this, it's from the top of the eyebrow to the lower lip, from here to the right side of the eyebrows.
You want to sever
right in here, and what it does when you go in, it goes,
Steve,
severs.
There you go. Yep.
Excuse me, but it severs
The spinal.
the brain stem
Okay.
from the brain.
It
Instant death. Instant death.
Just like that, it stops everything.
In theory, if you hit somewhere right in here, you're going to basically rip away the brainstem, and so they can't even pull the trigger.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
That is the whole idea about this spot right here. But a lot of people or some of the snipers will call it the ocular shot.
Yep.
Oh,
is what they'll call it.
If they're gonna have to shoot them, I want them gone.
And that's what it does. And when they have hostage situations and they're showing someone that's just like some head, like they were showing that red spot, that's what they go for, is the ocular shot on them.
You want to be behind someone, not like this, because this is like if you're doing this as a hostage situation, like you're asking for, you're giving them everything they need.
If you intend to take a hostage, please do this.
I'm just saying for those who watch the movies, it's like it's so stupid. It's like yes, that's
the
exactly
movies don't pay attention to the movies. That you'll never get anything from the movies that's right, and never shoot anybody right here in the forehead. No good.
What do you think, Mr. Producer? Song review?
So, and that
Sounds good to
is
me.
shooting targets.
There you go.
I love it.
Let's roll it.
It's not there.
What? Ryan, what did you do?
Nothing.
No, it's there. It's just it's turned off. Okay, that's
Ryan.
okay. Go ahead, Ryan. Let's go ahead and
Okay.
get into the song review. here.
Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, that's on you, buddy. Go ahead and throw up the first song.
Sorry.
Throw up the first song.
Okay, so today's song is "Feel It" by this guy called Toby Mac. Have y'all heard of this guy?
Feel it.
And Mr. Talkbox, yes,
Feel
exactly.
it.
Have any of y'all heard this song before?
Yep.
No, I haven't, but I can
my
feel it.
All right.
Gosh, hold on. I'm trying to fix my camera.
So
we
yeah,
had
that's on
some-
you, buddy.
We had some. We made some adjustments to the studio a bit today, so
I thought Mr. Talkbox was really good in this one.
That was a fun song.
Yeah.
Switch
Can I use
cameras,
this?
bud. Switch cameras.
But then the white shade will be on the. It'll show the TV.
Just whatever.
We're okay.
It's okay, as long as the host is fine with that.
All right, let's go.
We're good.
Keep going. Come on. No, I mean, go on with the song review. It's 2:45, bud. Let's keep going.
I'm confused. Hold on.
You're good.
That's all right.
Improvise, adapt,
Anyway.
and overcome.
Okay, first one. When I sit back and imagine life without you, I can't fathom how I ever thought I'd make it on my own. But there's at least a million reasons I'm still standing here believing you're my comfort, you're my healing, this I know. That's a pretty good first verse, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
I did like
any
it.
objections to that?
No, I think when you look at Toby Mac and his life and what he's been through, you can see how those words
Yes.
would come out.
Well,
I think-
here's the criticism I'm going to throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
You're making the assumption he's talking about God. It's not. I mean, if somebody who did not know Toby Mac, know his music, somebody who was very generic and just listened to that
Yeah,
verse,
That's
they
a
would be
crossover
thinking
type song.
they would be thinking that he's talking about a love relationship.
That's true, yeah. I was also going to say, I think any Christian can relate to, like, when I sit back and imagine life without you, I can't fathom how I ever thought I'd make it on my own. Like, I think, like, any Christian can say, like, I don't know where I'd be without Christ. Like, I would not be the person I am today without Christ.
Yep.
So I think that's a pretty good first verse. But then I have some problems, I believe, starting with the pre-chorus. Well, you can't see the wind, but it moves the leaves from the bottom to the top of the tallest trees. You are everything that I'll ever need, and they can't take that from me.
So this goes to Nikki's point, though.
So I made a mistake. It's the chorus I have a problem with. But this pre-chorus here, I love this first part because it's a pretty good, I wouldn't say it's like a strong argument, but I think it's a decent argument to start getting into like
But here's the deal.
the existence of God and stuff.
So take this song and play it on your secular station. And what are they thinking?
Well, I don't actually have a problem with it because it's not a worship song. It's clearly
it's not. You're right.
Talkbox and Toby Mac were never. You will never hear someone
conflate them for worship.
Oh, really? Because I was going to do the song for worship next week.
Yeah, exactly. You're fired. No, you're fired. You're fired.
Quite frankly, you're fired. Does that come from the chief of police?
No.
The tyrant?
No, the chief of president. But anyway, go ahead. Keep going. Let's get to the chorus.
Okay, chorus. All right. Oh, I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my soul. That's how I know. You take our brokenness and make us beautiful. That's how I know. Now,
that's the one that everyone knows. Everyone's heard that on the radio if you were alive in 2008 or whenever it was.
Yeah, this is where I start having some problems with this song because it starts talking about feelings.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how I know God's real is from like my changed life and everything, which is good. But I heard a sermon from...
It's easy believism that he's accidentally preaching.
There you go.
He's accidentally preaching easy believism, and it is a heresy and a fallacy. It's worth noting if you have kids, if you have teenagers, it's like, well, you do know that we have more than our feelings.
Yeah.
And that's where you bring in apologetics, and that's where you bring in, okay, this is why we believe what we believe. Here's the logic and the reason, which is hopefully what we do on the show. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of shallow Christianity. I was listening to a sermon by, I think, Vodi Bakum a while back. And he was talking about like why he believes the Bible, and he talks about like some people's argument is like, oh, I tried Christianity and it worked for me. Well, some people have tried Buddhism, and some people have tried Islam, and it worked for them.
And
it gave them a good feeling.
The truth is, it didn't work for them, but the not working and the understanding of it, quote unquote, not working, takes eternity to figure out. And even people who are in eternal hellfire still don't figure it out. So yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment from the late Vodi Bakum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good preacher.
Really solid preacher. Solid preacher.
Yeah.
Very reformed, but good guy.
Yeah. Then the refrain here, love came crashing in, never gonna be the same again. Yeah, you came crashing in, you wrecked me. And post-chorus, everybody talking like they need some proof, but what more do I need than to feel you? That's probably like...
That's super easy believism.
That really annoys me. Because once again, just easy believism, where I feel like we're kind of exalting feelings.
Megasus! Sounds like heresy to me. It's very heretical, some people say. I still like it. It's fun. It's very bop.
But yeah, it's definitely heresy.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off with you.
I just thought about what was that thing you said, John Arthur, one time? Like, I think we were doing the Experiencing God study, and you're like, God, the experience, like, no.
Yeah, no. So, and again, it's one of those things that we do need to say, wait a minute, it's a little weak, but it's a fun song, and it's fun.
It is.
And it's not a worship song. It's not conflated with that. We do need to talk to our kids about this, though, because a lot of children, a lot of teenagers grow up with this. The Catholics have their own issues, but the Protestants, they have this very loose connection to any sort of intellectual rigor in America. It's really bad that they have that, and all denominations have this. But I see it a lot more in evangelical circles, where there's just no teaching, no raising of the kids.
Critical thinking. No critical...
Disappearing.
Yeah, reasoning, critical thinking, common sense.
So, and that comes from parents. And I had one dad one time come to me and say, I wish my son was like you. I wish I had a relationship with my son like the way your dad has with you. I'm like, look, my dad, I didn't tell him this, but I'm thinking, my dad and I have our problems. Okay, that happens. But my dad, I've watched you with your kid. You do not put in half of what my dad does. My dad sat there with me as a 2-year-old and taught me electronics. Okay? That's why I was building my first computer at 4. Do you think I just did that? No, I had someone pour into
John Arthur, it didn't just come to you?
Yeah, exactly, right? No, I was just sitting there and I realized what RAM and a graphics card are and what they do. And no, my dad sat there and he didn't baby talk me. He'd been telling me about it for 2 years. My dad's borderline, he's like a little bit autistic. You've met my dad, right? So he's sitting there and he's like talking about all of these different things with a 2-year-old, right? The only way you build a generation of kids who love God, know God, and they're able to defend their faith is you, A, have to know it yourself. B, you have to spend time with them. And I think a lot of parents, people have just abandoned their kids to the state. And, some people in this room fought really hard to be able to make sure that they could pour into their kids. I know Charlie and Nikki, you worked 3 jobs at a time. How many hour days were you working some of those years?
I had a few days where it was easily 16, 18 hours. I had one day that was 20.
Yeah.
During that stretch.
Like, so how many months was that at 20 hours a day?
That was only a couple months. It didn't last terribly long.
But you did that so that your wife could raise the kids.
Yes.
Well, I was 8 months pregnant too. I couldn't really go get a job.
Well, everyone wants to sacrifice like nothing and get everything. I forget. I think it was Alex Hormozy. He said, "These people say they want to be rich, or they want to be successful, or they want to be disciplined, but they don't want to give up what they're doing in their life right now, and they want to have their cake and someone else's, and eat both." And you got to realize, if you're going to raise kids and have them be successful, you have to pour into them. You can't just...
By the way, I think, because I go back and how immature that I was very young. And I was very young spiritually and not just mentally, but kids can be very forgiving too. I mean, there are things that...
They really can.
Yeah, they've been very... If they know what your heart, they know your heart.
And I would say this too. For those, for you parents out there that feel like you've screwed up with your kids, take a number.
Yeah.
Take a number.
Yeah.
Okay. That's number one. Number two, I want you to understand this too, that as a parent, you want to raise your kids perfectly. You want to do a perfect job. I don't know of too many parents that don't want to do a perfect job.
But unfortunately, perfection's not a thing in this
world.
world.
That's not a thing. And God is so good. He is so gracious that in spite of your shortcomings, of which there are probably many like me, He's going to help your kids overcome. And they're not going to hold it against you. So I just want to try to encourage some folks out there with that.
Good song.
Like the
final thoughts for the day. Moving around the room, we'll start with Steve.
Yeah, just kind of like to say this. Rottweiler asked, if someone with multiple personality disorder threatens suicide, is that considered a hostage situation?
I saw that.
Think?
No.
It's called self-side.
It depends. So if you're using a gun and holding it to your head.
So I love the cases where people actually cops show up and they actually end up shooting the person anyway. It's like, wait a minute, why were you called there? You just anyway. But
it's suicide by cop.
It's a suicide by cop. So
right.
I got mixed opinions on that. Final thoughts for the day, Steve.
Oh, for the day?
Yeah, for the day.
Well, okay. Well, you just said final thoughts.
Yes. Yes. The implication was.
Oh, okay.
No one understands.
Oh, man.
Right.
Hey, one thing.
That one's not.
Don't forget the Second Amendment. I do some of this stuff for the outdoors for you people to just kind of learn to express your Second Amendment rights. Learn some of this stuff on the Second Amendment. Get into the Constitution. Understand what it means. Read your Bible. See how Jesus was and is into politics. He definitely was, and so should you, and be a Bible Christian. Read that Bible. Stay up on God's Word.
Amen. Miss Nikki.
I would go back to the small town thing. It's really been on my mind, bothering me. But fact check this, because I think the town is McKinney. McKinney, Texas, is suing the residents. Check that. It's a town in Texas. I think it's McKinney, but I could be mistaken on that. So you would need to fact check it. But there is a town in Texas that is going to sue their residents because they need to raise taxes, and the voters keep rejecting it.
Whoa, that is nuts.
So we need to keep talking about these things.
Yes, they
We
did.
need to keep talking about these things. And social media is an avenue that if you're in a small town like something like this, can get you a voice.
I know another town that has water problems in
Well, a lot of them do. The question is are they arresting people and who are speaking out about it, or is the government allowed to be a complainant? Are they allowed to be a it's not right. It's not correct, Mr. Charlie.
I love all that we've covered today. It's been very good, and I would say that the situation in Trinidad is clean house.
Clean it up.
You've got your own swamp that needs to be drained. Clean it out.
Yep, Mr. Producer.
I thought it was interesting looking at the Gen Z studies.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of posts like that on my Instagram, like just seeing what's going on with Gen Z, and I think it was you, Mr. Charlie, you said they're really starting to seek truth, and they're just kind of tired of the nonsense.
They want borders.
Gen Z is the generation I'm a part of, so just
they want boundaries.
It's very interesting seeing what's happening with my generation.
Did you find that eye-opening?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did too. That's why I was really excited to put that together, because as I was reading that study, I was reading the original study. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Gen Z is waking up.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
And
yes,
so
they are.
What they need to wake up to is
they are potentially very ripe for revival.
Correct. They need to wake up to a hot cup of the gospel, and with a side of truth and intelligent discourse. If we don't have that waiting for them when they wake up, who knows what they'll take. So just final thoughts from yours truly. Same here. I'm okay with bringing the wood chipper out for wrongful kidnapping under color of law, especially when it is shown that you are kidnapping people who are, that's what wrongful arrest is. There is no statute for wrongful arrest.
Oh.
When you're doing that sort of stuff.
With two witnesses?
I think we have more than a couple of witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to really reconsider what officers are allowed to do. They can't just arrest people in the community. That's how people disappear. So be in prayer for the folks at Trinidad. Also be in prayer for this nation. Iran is interesting. We'll see what happens. With that said, we've got nothing else for you. You have a wonderful day.